Hello, this is Twyne here, and I'm going to be talking about my impressions of The Hunger Games. I saw it last night, and now that I've really gotten a chance to soak it all in, to really see what I feel about the movie, and now that the hype of seeing it is gone, what did I think about the movie? Let's talk about the good stuff first. The good thing is that the casting. That is the number one thing about this movie that is perfect. The casting is spot on. You believe these characters are who they say they are, and they were great. Each character, I'm like, that is not an actor playing this person. That is that person. And I love it when a movie can do that. I love it when it can take me out of this is a movie when it comes to characters. Because I want to be able to believe these characters are who they are. Because I want them to be brought to life. And they were. Hey, Mitch. Woody. Just gotta say. You're the man. Katniss. Perfect casting. Effie. I'm sorry. I know she's, like, kind of a villain, but, like... Well, you're not really a villain, but, like... I really enjoyed that character. She was funny. Everything she said made me laugh, and I thought this is going to be someone I'm going to really hate and is going to be super annoying, but no, she ended up being one of my favorite characters in the movie. Cato as a villain. Oh my gosh. I love this guy. He is enjoying everything evil that he is doing. I love a villain like that. I love a villain that enjoys being evil. Like, he just enjoys killing people because he's that good. Another thing that I really liked about the characters is that in the games, particularly Cato and his ragtag group, they act like a bunch of teenagers, a bunch of tool bags. Like, these are the guys I hated in high school, and they acted like a bunch of teenagers that you would hate, and I loved that. Because that's what they are. That's what they are. As boss as they are with the whole, and cool as they are with all the killing and the action, they're still teenagers. One of the clever things this film does to explain things is they have these two announcers. I thought that was a great idea to explain, because in the book we read Katniss first person, and she can explain everything in her head, but the movie doesn't have that luxury. They have two announcers that explain what tracker jacks are, or what happened earlier before, and stuff like that. And it's really a great way to tell the audience what's going on in a clever, unique way. And I really, really enjoyed that. The look of the world is, oh my gosh, it's perfect. It's exactly the way you'd imagine it to be. It was Penham. It was that. That's what it was. It was the districts. I believed it. The world, perfect. I was really happy about that. What else? The action. Oh my gosh, the action scenes. The action scenes. See, I already read the book, so I kind of know what happens. Well, no, I do know what happens. And when a movie where you already know what happens has you on the edge of your seat and has you jumping back, I mean, it's doing something right. But let's talk about the things where either I'm not too sure of or things that I didn't like. Things that I did not like. Well, no, let's talk about the things I was a little unsure of. There's only really one thing. It's a really quiet movie, and I don't know if that adds... I think it kind of adds to the film. I think it does. It's a quiet movie, meaning the musical score is almost non-existent. It's very... There's no music in the background usually at all. And it didn't annoy me, like, but it was noticed. I was like, oh, this is very quiet. But I think that kind of makes the film work. I think that's it's kind of a good note. It's kind of a good note, but I would have loved to have heard the music of this world. Like, I like being able to put in a soundtrack and to be put inside the movie, like, but that's just a small little tiny thing. Let's get on to the things where I didn't like. The beginning of the movie, I don't know why, but the camera was really annoying me. I don't know why. It just it seemed like a spastic person was just moving it around. And I could not focus. I don't know if anybody else noticed that, but I did not like. But it went away. It went away. It went away after the beginning of the movie. Like, I'd say I only had to deal with it for like 15 minutes. But anyway, moving on from that note, I really love the characters in this movie. I do. I believe them. I believe they are who they say they are. But there's one problem. Their relationships are not deep or explored enough for me to sometimes buy it. There are three relationships in particular. Now I realize in the book, Katniss and Peeta, it's all an act at first, and then they grow to like each other. But I didn't really buy that. It was kind of really glanced over, and one of my favorite parts of the book was them in that cave, and they spent a lot of time there. Obviously, you can't do that in a movie, but I feel like they would have spent just a little bit more time in that cave, exploring their relationship, watching the chemistry grow. It would have been a more effective ending for that particular story arc. I didn't buy it. I didn't like the romance. I know that they're acting, but they're supposed to make you believe it. And if I can't believe it, I can't believe that the Capitol does. What happens to Rue? Just would have been so much more effective, I thought, if they had spent just a little bit more time with that relationship between her and Katniss. I thought that it had enough to get by, but it wasn't enough to really get me, to really hit me right here in the heart. I thought that it was very fast, and it took away from that moment. And that's a really big moment in the book and in Katniss's development. And I thought the film did it okay, but I thought it could have done so much better with that particular relationship. And another one is Cena and Katniss. Now, Cena, they just kind of automatically like each other. I don't really... That part where she's going up the tube and she's about to enter the games and he says goodbye to her would have been so much more powerful had they explored the relationship between her and Cena so much more. And the movie's main problem is just that you can't emotionally connect anybody because they did not go in depth with the characters. And it hurts the movie a lot because you really need to emotionally connect with these characters to feel bad for them and that they're dying, to have that really big emotional impact. And it just wasn't there. And it hurts the movie a lot. And I thought the movie was good, but I did not fall in love with it like I wanted to. I don't think this is going to be the next Lord of the Rings or Harry Potter. It did not blow my socks off, but as a book to movie adaptation, it's not perfect, but I liked it enough to be like, this is exactly where this film needs to go in order for the trilogy to work. And I kind of like that they didn't use a trump card too quickly. I know I complained a little bit about it not being as grand in scope, but the two other books are so much bigger than the first one, in my opinion, that they kind of have to do it that way, I guess. So, I'm going to give this film 3 out of 5 stars. You will like this movie. And I really want it to get people to get behind, because the line was forever. I mean, people bought the ticket. They're on this Hunger Games train. They're ready to ride this series all the way, and there's nothing stopping it. And you know what? It's worthy. It's worthy. A lot more worthy than Twilight was. I mean, this series, if you haven't read the books, go read them. If you haven't seen the movie, go see it. Get behind this, because this series deserves your attention. So, this is Tyrus saying God bless and catch you next time.